Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, parents throughout the region are struggling to find child care. How an issue that was a problem before the flood has gotten worse. And a clash between free speech and the LGBTQ rights community comes to a head at the Supreme Court. We'll have a preview of a case that could have major consequences.
And we are walking in a winter wonderland live from Archer Park in Prestonsburg. I will have the latest forecast, which unfortunately includes some rain, coming up. Mountain News at 5:30 starts now.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. The need for child care continues to grow in Eastern Kentucky. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox details how local organizations are working to bring relief to parents in a region struggling to find solutions.
It was a growing issue before the flood. Now Eastern Kentuckians say they are running out of options.
Working parents need something in their neighborhood, in their community, so that and it may be somebody they already know, that can care for their children.
Some daycare centers were washed away in the flood, and the financial stress from their own damage keeps parents from staying home.
We have families who have decided, because of changing family situations, that they have to go to work and they can't find child care.
One of those child care centers hoping to reopen is Oak Tree Academy in Whitesburg, which held over 20 children a day before the flood destroyed their building. They are now working to reopen in a different location.
They ask me continuously when I'm going to open, and a lot of the children right now is just placed out, and hopefully soon I can herd them back in.
What Terry brings would be education and a second home for kids.
It's more personal, I feel, because when we have a child, we base that child's learning experiences on what that child is interested in, what that child needs.
The home atmosphere is something Becky Stacy is looking for more of in the region.
That family kind of thing is what we're looking for, so that parents can, as they go to work, drop off their children in their neighborhood, know the person that's taking care of them.
Becky says their goal is to have a comfortable amount of child care locations in the next 2 years. In Whitesburg, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
Oak Tree Academy owner Terry Ratliff says she's hoping to reopen her daycare by the start of next year. She's now located behind the courthouse in Whitesburg.
All right, we're back here live at Archer Park, and the festivities are just getting underway. It's finally dark enough where you can see the lights behind me, and we are having a blast. Let's take a look at what's going on across the region. Little overcast, but as you see on our camera network right now, we are seeing those overcast skies no matter where you are. London, Hazard, Pikeville, and we knew that was coming. We knew the clouds would increase ahead of the rain chances that'll be here a little bit later tonight. Temperatures, although it feels pretty cool out here, it's not actually that cold. 58 right now in Prestonsburg and Pikeville, 56 in Jackson, 55 London and Somerset, Williamsburg too, up toward Moorhead, 40s in Southwest Virginia. There is a little rain nearby, and I was actually nervous a few minutes ago because of the fact we were feeling the sprinkles, and I was like, listen, turn that off. We ain't got time for that over here tonight. And it looks like so far we're doing okay, but there is more rain out there to our west. We're going to keep watching that. So if you don't have it yet, get that WYMT First Alert weather app. It is going to be a great tool to have. And of course, we're going to be tracking the possibilities for rain, especially later tonight. So keep it handy. It'll be through the weekend too. Now, some temperatures are going to change, and we'll talk all about that coming up in Maine weather. But for now, Steve, we're going to keep rocking around the Christmas tree here, and we'll send it back to you for now.
All right, Brandon, a big Christmas lover. I'm sure he's in heaven over there, and it really is an impressive light display there at Archer Park. Well, a potential railroad strike, which could have severely disrupted the economy during the holidays, will not happen after Congress stepped in, forcing the rail companies and workers into an agreement. CBS's Natalie Brand has the latest on that from Washington, D.C.
With the deadline looming, President Biden signed into law a bill to prevent rail workers from going on strike next week.
I know this was a tough vote for members of both parties. It was a tough for me, but it was the right thing to do at the moment, to save jobs, to protect millions of working families from harm and disruption, and to keep supply chains stable around the holidays.
The Senate overwhelmingly passed legislation late Thursday afternoon. It forced the unions to agree to the contract negotiated in September between the railroads, labor unions, and the Biden administration.
Working with business and labor to get this done and avoid this, what otherwise is a really good bill lacking only one thing. And we're going to get that one thing done before it's all over.
The agreement includes 24% raises over 5 years for workers, adds a personal day, and some bonus pay. But senators did not approve something which railroad labor unions have been fighting for: 7 days of paid sick leave.
They are one of the few industries in America today that have 0 sick paid leave.
An amendment to add sick leave failed to reach the 60 votes needed to pass the Senate, but the unions say they are not giving up.
We're going to continue to fight the sick leave issue outside of contract.
Workers say the previously negotiated agreement does not address all of their concerns, but a majority of lawmakers say they had to act quickly as some impacts of a national rail strike could have been felt as soon as this weekend. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
8 of the 12 unions voted to agree to the contract with the rail companies, but 4 of them voted it down, blocking its passage. Paul Wieland, an American who's been detained in Russia, was able to call home today after a week without contact. Wieland's brother David said Paul told the family he had been moved to a prison hospital, but did not say why he was there. David Wieland said the call to their parents took place early this morning and served as proof of life despite lingering questions. Paul's family said they became concerned because he had warned them to contact the U.S. Embassy if they had not heard from him in more than 3 days. They believe he will be returning to his normal penal colony on Friday. Former National Security Agency contractor Edward Snowden has received a Russian passport after being granted Russian citizenship today. Snowden's U.S. passport was annulled in 2013 following his public disclosure of classified information. He's facing up to 30 years in prison in the U.S. Snowden has been living in Moscow after requesting asylum to several countries, including Russia. The Supreme Court is set to hear a case on Monday that has the potential to roll back significant civil rights protections. WYMT Washington Bureau reporter Molly Martinez takes a look at the case and why some say free speech is on the line.
A Colorado website designer sued so that she wouldn't have to make wedding websites for same-sex couples. Her lawyers say it's an infringement on her free speech. Now it's up to the Supreme Court to decide the legitimacy of that argument. Back in 2017, a gay couple filed a complaint against a Colorado cake shop after they refused to make them a wedding cake. The owner said it was against his religious beliefs to support same-sex couples, and the case made it all the way to the Supreme Court. Amanda Shaner, who worked on the case, explains.
Everybody thought they were going to rule for the baker and create new law and change the rules and say, actually, no, you do have an exemption not to sell a cake to a gay couple.
But that's not what happened. The court ultimately decided that the cake shop owner had discriminated against the couple, which is in violation of the law. Fast forward to now. An almost identical case is back on the docket, but this time there's a new, more conservative bench.
This court is maybe significantly more aggressive, maybe activist than maybe even some people expected.
By taking up high-profile cases like overturning Roe v. Wade, affirmative action, and now this, Shaner fears many other protections could be opened up to interpretation.
If the court writes a very broad opinion, it could it has the potential, I mean, quite honestly, to eviscerate a bunch of civil rights and anti-discrimination laws.
Kristen Wagoner, an attorney for the website designer, said in a statement, quote, Colorado has weaponized its law to silence speech it disagrees with, to compel speech it approves of, and to punish anyone who dares to dissent. The justices will hear oral arguments from both sides on Monday. They're expected to deliver their opinion in June. At the Supreme Court, I'm Molly Martinez.
Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, the job market remains strong despite a weakening economy. We take a look at some of the trends.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, and we're in one of the most wonderful places in the mountains for Christmas lights. The latest forecast for the weekend coming up.